Ready?
We're going to do a tour of the QA1 facility here in Lakeville, Minnesota. We're not going to be able to see comments and stuff very much, so just stick around. But if you guys want to see where some badass American products are made here in America, let's go check it out, because this is the place. Oh, we're rolling on both.
Yep.
Huh?
We're rolling on both.
Oh, good. Since we're on both channels, I'm going to give you the tour. If you obviously weren't able to make it to our open house today, we're going to give you the tour virtually through technology. So come on.
This is Bill. He's one of the engineers here at QA1. You guys know Mook and myself. And a couple of the buddies here running the cameras. Let's go see what's what.
So we're kind of starting at the end, and then we're working our way to the beginning. So here's where we keep some boxes.
Wow.
We got boxes. Now, all kidding aside, like even one of the things we put a lot of effort into is packaging and all kinds of different custom foams and things like that.
These guys, if you've ever ordered stuff from QA1, you see it show up, and it is well packaged. It's not flopping around like other companies. They put some serious time and effort into building these parts, so they protect them when they ship them.
Yeah. So here's our first station kind of on the tour. This is where all of the shocks get built. So not only do we make shocks for hot rods and muscle cars and things like that, but we also do a lot of OEM and industrial stuff. So we've done shocks for trailers, we've done shocks for sporting equipment. If you play football, there's shocks on some of the football equipment in high school, and we've done stuff for that kind of stuff. All kinds of different applications of shocks. It's not just hot rods and muscle cars and stuff. So this is kind of where a lot of the shocks come together and get turned from many pieces into one piece that will, shock.
They're all assembled right here in-house by real people turning wrenches. It's good stuff to see.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you just received a degree in manufacturing engineering?
It is, yes.
Yeah, so this is like coming right out of school. This is like seeing what you've been studying for quite a while.
But like way cleaner than most facilities. It's no oil everywhere, everyone's falling over. It's great.
Yeah. Well, all the spots that we do have oil, we have floors that drain it so that it doesn't. You're not stepping on it. Shock oil gets really slippery, and it's you get it on your clothes and it smells.
Shocking. There's a dog. Yeah. So this is actually the new facility. They just moved here a year ago.
Yep, just about a year and a half.
So this is a 100,000 square foot facility in Lakeville, where they produce everything in-house, and it is wildly impressive.
It's a big building. We used to be in two buildings. I don't know if you were ever at our old building, but we used to have two buildings that had all this stuff. So, we were going from one building to the other, and getting everything under one roof was a really big deal for what we were doing. So it's been nice. Although it is a long, like if you ever just need to get away from your desk, you can go to a lap. Which happened. Here's the mod shocks coming together.
QA1's mod shocks here. You see they have the base and all the internals assembled, and they just got to do their springs and couplings and pushing.
Yeah, so a lot of things like in these mod shocks, we have sub-assemblies that would go together. So we'll design, an individual part like just this can, but then this whole thing might be a sub-assembly. So we try to manufacture it as efficiently as possible. So when we do get it into the shock line, we're not putting every single part together. We might have some things pre-assembled so that once it goes through the shock line, it can just get the fluid, it can get put on the dyno, and then boxed up.
Do you guys practice a lot of lean here?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I see compound systems and stuff over here.
Yeah, we've got a manufacturing engineering department. We've got a group of guys that's all they do is try to lean stuff out, try to make it so that we're not tripping over ourselves every chance we get. Because when you get this many parts, when I first started 6 years ago, we had something like 7,000 part numbers, and that's gone way up since then. So when you have to manage that many part numbers, you have to find places where can trim some of the excess. So yeah,
eliminate waste.
yep.
It runs smooth here. Just seeing it, everyone in their rotations and their areas, everything has a home. You guys know what you're doing.
We're catching up to the physical tour, guys.
So they're having a live house or an open house today, and they're running some tours. So we're gonna wait for them to get a little ways ahead of us here. But Bill, if they wanted to learn more about QA1 suspension systems, where can people go?
QA1.net will be our website. Otherwise, we do a lot on Facebook. We've got some videos on YouTube. A lot of our marketing stuff is on the general social media channels. But we also, like, if you want to look just at products, our website has everything. It's got some great tech articles on there. Because we want to try to inform people, teach people about what they're buying, things like that. So we've done a lot to try to make it so that our website is educational as well as like showing you what we make.
When we put the Le Mans together, I didn't really know shit about suspension. And we started looking stuff up, trying to find stock part numbers that would give us different things, and angles were going to be terrible, and stuff wasn't going to work. So I reached out to QA1, and they were like, oh yeah, we actually do that all the time for guys that run 22-inch rims. We pretty much have a list of the parts you need to put your Le Mans on 31-inch tires. And we started working together. These guys have been nothing but awesome. All the crew here is very personable. They're really nice. They will help you with any problem you have. I haven't found one person that didn't greet me with a smile and a wave right away. This is a wonderful facility.
Well, we're thankful to have you guys come up and check it out.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Here's if you can see through the windows, that's where, like, if you call us with a tech question, through there is where the people are sitting that are answering your questions. So that's where a lot of our marketing department hangs out. That's where a lot of our sales department hangs out, accounting, all that stuff.
Take a look at this. This is why these guys are so good at what they do. There is long haul plaques and banners and cars and die cast stuff just chilling in all the offices. These guys are real enthusiasts that are just working at a job that builds parts for other enthusiasts. They're not some corporate person. Everyone here is someone that lives local and drives cars every day. Oh, yeah. Not just cars. Like, there's a car show.
There's hot rods. There's cool stuff in the parking lot every day. Yep. So this is our CNC department. We use a lot of automation, a lot of CNC equipment from 5-axis machines, mills, lathes, tubing benders. A lot of that stuff is CNC controlled so that we can keep really tight tolerances, and we can also identify really quickly, like, if a tool is wearing out and is not giving us the tolerance that we need it to be, we can figure it out really quickly. And these machines make everything really repeatable, so we're not necessarily tripping over ourselves as far as, like, oh, we made this part but it's slightly out of spec. This stuff keeps everything super tight, and we've got brand new machines too. A lot of our stuff has been replaced within the last couple of years.
I'm going to say usually you come into the CNC area and it's a 20-year-old machine, you still running G-code, or like whatever the early versions were that we learned in school. But no, these are all new to that and everything. This is impressive. Is it hot?
Yep. Wow. So this is where, and just because, like, automated doesn't necessarily mean that it's just set it and forget it. Like, there's still people that have to run these machines, and there's people that have to maintain these machines. So a lot of times people get kind of weird with them and say, well, if you're just having machines do everything, then you're taking workers out of it. There's just as many workers to keep these machines functional as there would be if this was a manual machine. Here's a press. This is a, come on over here. I think this is one one of the neatest machines as a guy who likes building stuff in his garage. If you've ever tried to bend sheet metal without like a tool to do it, you're like clamping 2x4s to a bench top and you're hitting it with hammers and you get a wavy head. This is a CNC press brake that I think is really kind of a neat piece because we'll custom program whatever part we're bending.
Yeah, so before and after.
So we take this piece, which is laser cut on that big laser over there, and then it comes over here and it gets turned into this. And it's repeatable. So we can take this flat plate that we laser cut on that piece, and then we put it in this piece and go from this to that.
That's probably like one of 50 pieces of a case member.
Yeah, yep. And how long would it take you to make that?
I can't make that.
I mean, even making this, if I were like making this in my garage shop, it'd be like an hour and a half to get to this point.
Burn. Part of it would be chopped wrong.
Yeah.
The hole would be like crooked. Oh god. And look what we drove here.
Scissor lift, you know. So when you unwrap that blue cable up there, you gotta get up there. Oh yeah, recognize that? These are tie rod adjustment sleeves.
Right here, from a piece of metal on the other side of this machine. As far as I can see down, that one's got looks like sway bar ends, rod ends, door down there. It goes this way. All these little bits and pieces that most people buy from China, import, no. Everything right here, in-house.
This is one of our newest machines right here. This is a brand new multi-axis CNC, so this thing can make pretty much anything you can imagine. Yeah, a whole bunch of tools. And like these machines, you can set up a program to run a tool that might take, you know, there might be a milling operation, there might be a lathe operation that use different tools. The machine will know, you can look at it moving right here, it's switching tools right now. So, yeah, I don't know. Can you guys get in there and see any of that?
People probably love to see that run on the live stream. Real quick in the comments, can you guys hear us okay? A little bit. Oh, okay. Not like that. Not good enough.
Fun little fun fact. Our guy that is really in charge of a lot of the maintenance and the setup of the different programming and tools is a accomplished late model asphalt racer. So just like like you were saying earlier, enthusiasts, like every level of the company, whether it's out here in the shop or in engineering or in city, all the stuff. There's enthusiasts of every kind. Building parts, and I like grabbing. We've got a couple of circle track races. I do a lot of design work on some of our streetcar products and things like that. And I love grabbing little tidbits of information from our circle track guys because they are such a wealth of knowledge and how they're real fast.
In case you didn't hear that, Bill said he said their manager for all the machine is he races late miles on asphalt, and a lot of their inside information when they're designing parts, they'll find one of their circle track guys and ask them what they think on something when they're building it. So it's just a big community of car people under one roof building stuff for car people.
This is our quality control control department here. So when we do make parts, everything from individual components like those little brackets you saw a minute ago, all the way up to a completed like cross member or control arm. We take samples from every run of parts and we run it through our quality department. And that's one of the things that helps us like not send out parts that don't work. You know, we run them through the paces here in QC and they are picky. So when we're setting up our drawings and we're setting up the engineering and the design aspects of how to make a part, everything has, even before a part's released, we have to run everything through QC and they have to say, okay, well, you know, can we hold these tolerances? How does it need to be? And everything goes through and we catalog everything. It's QC department is kind of an unsung hero, really. Like, you don't hear a lot about people's QC departments, but we've got a great group of people in QC that are always scrutinizing everything.
Design this. Super bad.
Where a lot of the shocks get boxed up.
So assembly, the back half of assembly for shops is where they get boxed up, and they show up to your place with a worker number on them, and an order number, and everything else.
Everything's barcoded. You know, most of what we sell goes through our distributors. So we do sell direct to consumers if you want to go that way. But most of what we do is we sell through our distributors because they can offer you better prices and things like that. And, you know, if you're buying like suspension pieces and brake pieces, you try to get stuff all through one piece or one
components out of here faster, which is cleaner, which is cheaper.
Yep.
So that the cost for the consumer stays down. Big old pile of control or assembled uppers here. Beautiful. It's like art, really.
Yeah, when they're all laid out on the...
Let me just snag a row of those real quick. And then buy a bunch of cars to fit the suspension, because it's usually worth more than the cars.
Buy a bunch of cars that all need that one side control arm. Yeah. This is warehousing. This was, you know, when we built this building a year and a half ago, it was a scratch build. We had some of our manufacturing engineers actually were really involved in the design of this building, and it was designed to have these super tall racks because, and like I said, in our old building we had two different buildings, or our old location. We had two buildings, so everything always had, like, some stuff was over here, some stuff was over there. Winter time with like forklifts going between the buildings was fun, and you know. So we got everything under one building here. It goes way up there. I know. Oh, really? Our guy Clint, he's kind of one of the brain in that sort.
Recognize these?
Yep.
You know some of these words?
I know some of these words.
That's good.
Here's some
Free samples.
rod ends.
Oh, not free samples. This is where the magic happens back here, right?
This is where, yeah, like this part of the warehouse is a lot of where, like, our faster moving items, like stuff that our shipping department is picking and pulling every day. We keep that close to where they're packaging it up and shipping it out. So this is where a lot of our, like, fast moving product goes.
And back here is where it all comes together.
Yeah. So now here's where we do a lot of the fabrication work. This is our CNC tubing bender. This is where all of our sway bars are bent.
Is that welding back there?
This is welding back here, yeah.
I think they have one robotic welder,
One robotic welder.
and everything else is welded in-house by hand.
Yep.
Beautiful. It looks incredible. Way better than I can do that. How does that take much?
Grinding stations.
What is
Those are strut bodies.
Oh. Makes sense. A-body uppers. So like one of those pieces we saw earlier that was made on the brake was one of the mini pieces that need to be welded onto that for a cable. It's impressive the amount of parts that go into these.
Yeah, these are welding fixtures for different parts. So that's that's another thing. Like we design parts, and then on the back side of it, there's a lot of work that has to happen. Everything that gets welded is welded in a fixture so that it can be repeatable and it can be precise. So that's something our manufacturing engineers do constantly is fixture design. Constantly working on
The
fixtures.
amount of work that goes into someone saying, "Hey, you guys should develop parts for this car that's not that common." There's a reason that not all parts are made, because they have to get a car, do the R&D, which is fine with get a car, do the R&D, develop the parts, make sure it clears, make all your probably need a half a year of engineering to make just like a set of arms.
Our we just did our control arm, what we call the control arm 2.0 project, and that was probably a 2-year project, start to finish. So just to go from saying, you should make this, well,
design it.
The idea and the prototyping is about 10% of the work, and then everything beyond that is setup and fixturing and
Once
packaging.
He hands it off to manufacturing, which has to go, okay, how do we make this? That's probably 60% of the work. And then QC has to check it, make sure it's good, and it's got to have a whole new line of the business side, all the numbers and everything behind it to sell it.
Yeah, all the part numbers. I mean,
Huge process.
the part numbers, the marketing. You got to figure out when you're going to start telling people that you've got a product coming out and what it's going to do, and that's a huge undertaking in itself.
So that's why when someone's like, "Hey, will you make control arms for my
Fiero.
Yeah, Fiero." No, probably not. But you never know.
Love to. We'd love to make stuff for all the people.
They'll probably put shocks on it. Steve, one of their salesmen, famously told me once, "I'd put shocks on a bass boat if you gave me the right measurements." So.
This is where we make the drive shafts. Carbon fiber drive shafts. So like those right there. These are precision machined and ground mandrels because we make the tubing.
Oh, man.
So rather than buying off-the-shelf carbon fiber tubing, we actually take it from carbon fiber thread, which is on big threads or spools of thread basically, and we run it through. We can't go in there. It's right back in there. You can see the machine a little bit, but it's a machine that takes that thread, and as these mandrels are spinning, it moves back and forth and back and forth, and we can
Back to the bottom. This is the fun room here.
Yeah, this is where we do this is where we do all of our R&D. So when we do have a product that comes along and we say, okay, we're gonna make this set of control arms for this car or whatever it might be. We bring a car in. Oftentimes we try to get something that's as stock as possible, and then we have a ferro arm that we can use where we can do some 3D scans. We can do everything. So this is where we actually take the idea and start getting the measurements and just kind of figuring out what do we want to do here, what's the coolest way to do it, and then this is where we put on prototypes, where we align our project vehicles that we're working on. We do all of that stuff. So a lot of validation kinds of things. Like if we say, okay, we want to do a coilover kit that's designed to drop your car 2 inches, this is where we figure out what it's going to take to get that 2 inches. Is it feasible in that particular application? And will our parts that we designed actually do that? So that all goes on here.
So essentially, this is the first and last stop for a part number.
Yep.
Comes in 2 years later, it gets tested, and it goes away.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it. That's kind of that was a little bit more than the nickel tour, I suppose, but
Quarter, probably.
that was probably the quarter tour.
Maybe 50 cents.
The 50 cent piece tour.
If you guys are in the area at all this weekend, we will be at Street Machine Nationals in St. Paul with QA1, burning the tires off the back of the Le Mans once again.
Hopefully keeping that engine together.
Hopefully keep the engine together this time. We just spent the entire last week redoing the motor, putting a roll cage in, and QA1 suspension all up front. So if you're around, come check us out. We'll be there. Come drink a water with us. You know, stand around and chat.
Yep.
We'll see you guys there. Thanks for joining us. On behalf of QA1, thank you guys very much for having us.
Thanks for coming.
It's great to see the place. You guys have some amazing production facilities here. It is awesome to see this stuff being made right here in America.
Yep. Right in Minnesota.
Right? Not far from home. We'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Mook, you want to say something?
Apples.
It's Steve! That's a 700 horsepower FRS powered by a 2JZ. I got a ride in it last night. I've never felt how much my eyeballs weighed until right then.
What a creepy sentence.
I know, well, you go riding it. You'll understand what I mean when you feel your eardrums start to compress. Alright, we'll see you guys at the show. We only had like